Hello, Akram. Okay, my name is Bev. I'm an ex-IELTS examiner and I'll be giving you your feedback on your submitted tasks. Okay, so let's begin with task 1. First thing, your word count totaled 124. It does need to be 150 minimum. If you're under that, you do lose significant points. So make sure that you count your words and that they do come to a minimum of 150. Okay, all right. So in terms of responding to the question, you have done so. You answered all the items in the required from the question, although in some parts you could have gone into a bit more specifics and details. Okay, all right, so let's go through the task sentence by sentence. So my name is Jack Dawson and I am a regular customer at your restaurant. You don't need to say to dine because that is generally what a customer does at a restaurant, okay? So you could just say I'm a regular customer at your restaurant, or you could say, if you wanted to say that is, I am a regular customer who enjoys dining at your restaurant, okay? All right. I see that in a few places you've used the infinitive to and the verb in a few places. Something you need to move away from. So perhaps go and have a look at some basic subject-verb agreement sentences. Okay. All right. So although I have had good experiences in the past, my recent visit, okay, you've already put although and you've put but. So you don't use both. Okay. So you would leave out the but over here and you would say, although I have had good experiences in the past, my recent visit on May 24th was one that I would rather forget. Okay? Or you could say was one that was very disappointing when comparing it to my usual experiences at your restaurant. Okay? Thus, I would like to bring this matter to your kind attention. Okay, the tone is great. It's polite. It's factual. It's good. Okay, Mr. John Whitkey was serving us that day, or was serving our table that day. Okay, we don't use for. Okay, because you've already got the verb serving. Okay. Not only was he rude to us, here you could expand a little bit because you are short on the word count about how he was rude to you. Perhaps he didn't greet you or ignored you, or his tone of voice was abrupt or something like that. Okay. Not only was he rude to us, and you can say by failing to greet us, or not responding to us when we caught his attention, something like that, okay? But you have got a good agreement here. The way you've got the sentence, not only and then followed by but, that is correct, okay? But if you're going to be expanding on he was rude to us, you're then going to start with firstly, comma, he was rude to us in that his manner and tone were very abrupt, or he was rude to us and ignored us when we tried to catch his attention. Okay, and then you would say, furthermore, he made us wait for almost an hour or nearly an hour before he served the food. Okay, eventually the food which was served was extremely unappetizing as it was cold and smelly. Now smelly is a little bit vague. Okay, you could rather say and had a very unpleasant odor. Okay, because I think what you're trying to say, it didn't smell good. Okay, smelly, yes, generally it does mean that it doesn't smell good, but if we want to use good English, you need to be a little bit more specific. So it had an unpleasant odor or an unpleasant aroma. Okay. As the service on that day was disappointing, I wish to obtain a full refund for my meal, and most importantly, I hope that these issues are sorted out with your staff immediately. Okay, and then you need to possibly go on to say that something along the lines of, I believe that, I trust that you will do so, as I know that your restaurant adheres to high standards of service, and I hope to have a positive experience on my next visit, something like that. Okay, so overall, Akram, you've done a good job here. Just watch the grammar. I take a look at the grammar and make sure that you stay within the word count. Okay, good job. Okay, Akram, let's go on and take a look at your task 2. Okay, you have answered the question, your response is good, and you've taken the stance that you basically agree that traditional education is doing more harm than good, and you've carried that argument through your essay, so that's good. Okay, let's take a look at paragraph by paragraph. Excuse me. Right, so let's begin over here. The issue on conventional education systems has undoubtedly grown. I wouldn't say grown, but has undoubtedly come to the fore. Okay, it's, in other words, meaning that more focus and attention has been given to this problem. Okay, so it has undoubtedly come to the fore or been brought into more focus in recent years. We don't use the, okay, in recent years, due to the inception of technological advancements. Okay, despite the benefits, it should not be forgotten that traditional education has serious concerns in relation to drawing out or bringing out the potential in students to meet industry standards. Okay, I'm not quite sure exactly what you're meaning to say here. I'm understanding that you're saying that that traditional education does have some benefits, but not enough potential has been drawn out of the students so that they are ready for the workplace when they come out. I think that's what you're trying to say. So you need to be a little bit more clearer there. Okay. This essay will discuss, you don't need to say about, because discuss means talk about already. Okay. So this essay will discuss the drawbacks prevalent or evident in the traditional education system, and as well as looking at some recent alternatives. Okay, good. Nice introduction. Good job. All right. So let's go to the first paragraph. Firstly, perhaps the argument in favor of academic alternatives, considering the traditional system, is the practical approach. This is mainly due to the fact that usually the or a conventional academic curriculum is theory based, okay, and often lacks applied knowledge, which is the main ingredient for creativity. Okay, you can't find applied knowledge as such, but you could say that it often lacks a platform for students to apply their knowledge, or it lacks the opportunities for students to apply their knowledge, which is the main ingredient for creativity. Okay, not just creativity, but the main ingredient for creativity and maybe lateral thought. Okay. Furthermore, traditional systems, plural, emphasize, take away the S because you put into plural, or you could say, furthermore, traditional systems place an emphasis, okay, on exams, and the results often do not reflect the real talent or ability, okay, of the students, okay. For example, a recent study conducted in schools in India, okay? When you say Indian schools, you get Indian schools all over the world, okay? So you need to, I think you mean schools in India, so you need to be a little bit more clearer there. showed, because it was in the past, okay, excuse me, that 65% of students were underachievers, okay, or were reflected as underachievers in a written exam environment, okay, full stop. This was due to them experiencing pressure, okay, even though they are considered to be diligent students, okay, they're students because they're in a study scenario. Therefore, it is obvious, or it is clear that alternatives need to be considered so that the theory that students learn can be applied, okay? All right, so the opportunity for students to be able to apply their knowledge cannot be more emphasized, okay? Good. Then, secondly, there is ample evidence to suggest, brilliant phrase, great stuff. There is ample evidence to suggest that traditional systems, okay, or the traditional system, traditional systems have clear drawbacks. This is because students more often than not, that's also a very good phrase, feel unmotivated and lack enthusiasm to learn theory from books. Great stuff. Moreover, they find it tedious and monotonous to evaluate long-winded academic discourses. Nice, Akram, very nice phrasing. Okay, for instance, a recent study showed, past tense, that instead of yearly, try and use annual, higher level English, the annual enrollment for research-related studies, you might want to put in a hyphenated word there, had significantly, or you can just say recent studies, for instance, a recent study showed that the annual enrollment for research-related studies was reduced significantly by 35% in India. Thus, the approach of traditional educational systems is under, I wouldn't say severe scrutiny, I would say intense scrutiny, okay? They're looking at it very closely, okay? Whereas severe kind of means that they're being harsh, okay? So it's under very close or intense scrutiny, okay? In conclusion, traditional education systems, okay, lack practical knowledge. Not the system lacks practical knowledge, but traditional education systems do not provide opportunities for students to acquire practical skills from the knowledge that they learn, okay? Full stop. However, there are more alternatives to consider which could enhance the students' approach, okay, towards learning and improving their, not innovative, I think you mean inherent talents and abilities, okay, because that's basically what's naturally within them. Okay, good. So Akram, overall you've answered the question well. You're within the word count, your task response is good, your coherence and cohesion is good, the way it's structured is good. Just the some of your grammar and your word choices you could look at, and it would improve your band score significantly. Okay, good job. Thank you.